Oh my, thank you for joining me. I tell you what, you have to work on these lights, and then I want this beautiful scene here, and I got it ready. And I just love it. We are green today. It's a funny green, and this shirt's got it in it too. And so the verse for today, as you join me, is today's Bible verse that I found on my phone, John 16:33. Jesus said, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. And he has, and he is the way to eternity. But I wanted to tell you about this morning, and I've got a lot to tell you. As Kentucky Life with Debbie says, you don't want to miss this. I'm going to make it interesting. Well, it was interesting, honestly. We went to this yard sale, and we had went yesterday, and I got this shirt that had flowers in it, and it was so pretty. It had red was, and I had a red house in the back, and like I put this together this morning. I want you to have pleasant viewing. So anyway, I told James, I said, I hope we can find, we're going to Clarksville. There's some more sales up there. And we went, and we couldn't find that one where this man and woman was selling all those shirts for $1 a piece. And she had a stack of them. They had a stack of them. I said, how comes you letting them go for $1 a piece? He says, well, I don't wear them anymore, or something like that silly. I forget what he said. But he said, I can't wear them anymore. So we finally, after we drove around and around this subdivision, well, we went to another. We found a couple other yard sales that we didn't know was going to be there, and they were fun. But I wanted that one that had a, a stack that high. And you know me, I interview people and I find out things a lot of times. So we found it finally. See, I told you this was important. And I wanted to go through those because they were stacked so high you couldn't hardly go through them. So when I got there this morning, I said, honey, just hang around a little. I want to look through these again because they're only $1 a piece and I want to pick out some more. I just have fun doing that kind of stuff. And if I don't like them when I take them home, I just move them on down to another thrift store or something. Somebody will like them. So I started working on them. And finally I told the lady, come over here and help me look at these. So she came over. I want to be like Kentucky Life with Debbie, talk about interesting things. She can be so interesting. I watched her last video and it was just so much fun. Now I'm going to tell you right now, she told me about that thing. You remember what I told you about? And I did a short on it this morning. I got a picture of it here somewhere. And I'll tell you the truth, I could not do that thing. Here it is. See that right there? She loves hers. So and they're good for somebody that's strong. I'm not strong. I mean, it really takes some doing to get that thing going. So I just got it back in the box. I'm taking it to Kohl's and sending it back. And I'm just going to get vacuuming done. I've got Jennifer, the one-armed girl, who is amazing. And I've got Tammy, who is amazing. And they can just come vacuum for me. So, and I didn't want them pushing that thing. It's I have a really good vacuum cleaner that is made for pet hair and stuff, and it does a really good job. The only problem with that is getting it done. And I have see neither one of them have cars, and so I have to run them back and forth, and I don't mind that, but and fitting into their schedule also. But we're going to work it out. That's for sure. So anyhow, I said to this guy that they're selling all them blouses and stuff, and he was raking in the money from other people because their prices were good on everything. So I said, well, I said these are all name brands. And my friend Beulah May, she didn't buy anything was a name brand. I said, where did you work that you made such? He said she loved to spend money, but she's passed away. So I thought this was his second wife. Mm-mm. This was his girlfriend. They're dating. She passed away last year, and he's selling all her clothes and just getting rid of them and making, why not? She don't need them anymore, and she was a good Christian woman, and she's in heaven. So this was an attractive lady there. She didn't need any of them. So I said, well, where in the world did you work? I'm curious that you made such big money. He said she loved to spend money, and it wasn't a problem. I said, where did you? He said, Pillsbury. Pillsbury, I said. Did you know my brother David and my brother Aubrey? They worked at Pillsbury for years and retired. He said, I sure did. Good men. I said, those were my younger brothers. I said, and my brother David but he was a boss. He run things. So he did make big money. And even the employees, like my brother David and Aubrey, Pillsbury paid the best in this area. So they made good money. I said, my brother David got throat cancer, and my mom prayed for him for years that he would get saved and not be an alcoholic anymore, because when he was a kind of man, and he's a good man in his heart, but he came home and he would drink his beer and get drunk before he went to bed, and then he'd wake up sober the next morning, go to work and give a day's work. He did that till he retired. Well, after he retired, he got cancer of the throat, and Mom's prayers were answered. He could not drink anymore. He had to be fed through a tube in his stomach, and he still is right now. I talked to him the other day. He's doing good. Strong Democrat. But that's okay. I love him, and he loves me. We don't discuss politics. But David uh, is doing good. He's serving the Lord. He goes to church. Going to church don't get you to heaven, but it can help teach you things, and you can learn things when you go to church, and you can be with other like believers, which it's a good thing to run with your own crowd. You know, Daddy used to say, birds of a feather flock together. And if there's one thing you're not going to do, you're not going to go run with this one family that lives over there across the river. They drink all the time and they carry on, and the girls are bad girls, and you're not going to be running with them, because he thought if we run around with them, we might get just like them. And they had such a bad rep. And out in the country that way, your reputation was everything. And theirs was terrible. But I got to know a couple of those girls after I went to school. And they went to the same school I did as I got a little older. And I got acquainted with them. And they were fun to be around. But that was all I could do. I couldn't go to their house and visit them or anything. Daddy would never allow it. He was very particular. So anyhow, I was talking to this guy, and so I said, well, is this your wife? He said, no. And so she proceeded to tell me when his wife passed away and she knew him and she was single, she said, the Lord told me to go help him and take care of him as much as I could. She says, so we're not together. I have a home, except we're courting. They're sweethearts. And she said, so I went and I talked to him and told him the Lord wants me to help you. And he spoke up loud. And this is what he said: you know, God sent her to me, and she is such a blessing. And she said, well, when I went to visit him, he wasn't smiling and he was so sad. He said, but now look at him. He's sitting over there smiling because she brings him food, and, you know, she's a caretaker. And so they're courting, and she's near his age, and they make a fine couple. I thought sure they were married already, but I think it's in the future for them because both of them are Christians. And I told them I had YouTube and tell people about the Lord and stuff like that. And when I went to pick out some more shirts, which I did, they had them stacked so heavy I couldn't hardly move them. So I said, help me look through these. And then I told everybody, come in. These prices are good, so y'all buy them. And they were really shopping, and I had a good time. Don't you like the green today? I am just pleased with it. I like to have good ambiance for y'all when I talk to you. It's just beautiful. This is a funny color, but it goes good with I don't really know what this is. It's a bluish green. I don't know. And it's in this This is one I picked up for $1 at the Salvation Army. I picked up 3 or 4 of them. And then I just go, I keep all my stuff stacked in the laundry room at James's house. And when I left that place this morning, I had 3 Walmart sacks full of shirts. And so he said, well, how many was there? Because he was putting them in bags for me. I said, I don't know. I never counted them. I said, probably, he said, 10? Oh, I said, oh, I think more than that. He said, well, tell you what, $7. $7? Heavens to Murgatroyd. He just wanted to get rid of them and sell them. And we had a good rapport. It's nice to meet people and have a good rapport with them. You just feel at home talking to them. So he told me about himself and how she spent big money, but he said that was all right, but she sure did like to spend it. And he loved her a lot, but now God has sent him another woman. And when you're a senior citizen, well, even when you're a teenager or young starting to court, how do you find a good girlfriend or boyfriend that might be marriage material? It's not easy, but I suggest that you go to church and get in with the young people and maybe go on some uh, things that they do. They do a lot of things. Now, Northside Christian Church has got youth church, and they have got a lot of dedicated youngsters, young people, and college age, and go to places like that. And like I told someone lately, it's not a sin to change churches. If you're not in the right church, God will have one just for you special, and you will know it when you go there. So we've got good churches. James and we go to Northside Christian Church, and I stream anymore because I'm 91 and I can't sit too long. I have to get up and move around often. So James goes in person to Evangel North, and they stream, and Northside streams. So if you live in this area and you're young, go to one of those churches, get in with the youth groups, and have good friends. Well, I tell you what, today's Saturday morning, and I'm about done, and I'm going to cut it a little short because I'm afraid my thing's going to change. And this looks too good for it to go wham and go elsewhere. But I've had fun today, and it's getting about nap time. So God bless you. Walk that path where Jesus would be pleased with you. And I'll catch you later. I don't know when. I just, whatever happens, happens is the way it goes with Grandma Lois. And I now call myself Grandma Lois. And since Billie Jean, just me, Billie Jean, and that's BILLIEGENE. And he has fixed me up a good opening, and I just love it. Thank you, Billie Jean. And look at his YouTube. He cooks. He had a recipe on the other day. He cooks like a chef, but he makes a lot of it so easy anybody can do it. And that's what I like. Anybody can do it, even me. No, I'm a pretty good cook. And James does tell me, good supper, honey. Good lunch. Whenever and I hardly ever have the same thing all the time, but when I had that big pot of beans the other day, we had it for 3 days. And I had to do cornbread again, because we was eating it pretty up. But he likes soup beans, and I do too. And I played him his bluegrass music and told him to just pretend we're at a bluegrass festival. He's got a big old TV over there, and we just made the scene and had bluegrass music, cornbread, because they always had it for sale when you went to these festivals. It was fun. Who knows what will happen next? Just enjoy till Jesus comes. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye bye.